Well, welcome back, guys, to Gridiron Leaders Beyond the Game. I am your host, Dr. Marilyn Carroll, and today, guys, we're venturing into the dynamic and strategic world of Lincoln Riley, a name that has become synonymous with modern football coaching excellence. Now, in this episode, we will dissect the key elements that make Riley's approach to coaching so effective and impactful as well. We'll dive into various aspects of his career and leadership style, drawing out lessons that transcend really the boundaries of the football field. So, our critical topics for today include Riley's journey to success. We'll start by tracing Riley's path from his early days at Texas Tech to his current role at USC, highlighting the milestones and challenges he faced along the way. And then we'll dive into his innovative offense strategies. Riley is known for his creative offensive tactics. We'll break down some of his most successful strategies and discuss how they changed the landscape of college football. Next, we'll talk about leadership and team culture. We can't talk about this show. It's sponsored by Culture Vibe, and we'll talk about that. We'll explore how Riley builds his team culture, fosters resilience, and develops talent, drawing parallels to leadership principles in various sectors. And after all, that's what our show is about, lying leadership in college sports side by side other leadership practices outside of the world of college sports. Next, we're going to talk about adaptability and decision making. We're going to look into Riley's adaptability in high pressure situations and how his decision making process can teach leaders in all fields. And this segment, we're going to talk about a little bit about women in sports leadership, reflecting on the increasing role that women really have. And leadership will compare Riley's style with that of successful female football coaches and administrators in football sports or sports period. And then we'll dive into the future of college football coaching. We'll speculate on the trends in college football coaching and Riley's potential influence on the next generation of coaches. And last, we have some questions this week, or Sunday starts a new week, and today is Sunday. But I didn't post yesterday. Last week we had I had a great time with visitors with me, guys around, and we talked about a lot of different things around sports. They asked me questions. I told them that I was going to be talking about Riley, and there were some ladies as well around the table, and we had a great time out and about, just really gabbing about sports and my new avenue of learning where it comes to college sports and just sports, taking a deeper dive into that background, understanding things a little bit more. So let's dive in. We got a lot to cover today, so bear with me. All right. Also, please let me know if you're liking this podcast. I need to know. Like I said, it's a limited series. We have Riley is number 5 or 6, and we have more to go. We're going to kind of double dip or triple dip next week. I think we're covering 3 coaches next week. We want to be ready for January 1st. If can, I was going to take it on out throughout the I have some requests to kind of work on college basketball as well. So, Lincoln Riley, innovative and specialized. He's research and development, niche market exploration for businesses. Companies in sectors like biotechnology or who specialize in tech can focus on deepening their expertise in a niche, always stand ahead with innovative solutions and technical offerings. I think that's one of the things that I know that's one of the things I pull from Lincoln Riley. We'll talk about some drills and things of that nature that one could have. So let's dive in. Like I said, I want to make sure I cover everything that we're talking about, because we did a chart too on the 7 aspects of him: innovation, team building, emotional intelligence, adaptability, mentorship, communication, resilience, and work-life balance, and how that compares to football as well as other professions as well. So because I really saw that he prioritized well-being, supportive environment. He had very open communication, seems like, from what I saw in my research on Riley. Now, from the sidelines to the court offices, some of the things I took away was crisis management, reputation handling, and learning from failures. My research was a little more extensive on him because I had questions from my potential audiences who provided that the team that was around me that gave me provided me with a lot of information on what they thought I should be covering on him. So let's talk about early career and rise. Riley started as a student assistant as Texas Tech under Mike Leach. Mike was a renowned offensive mind. After playing a career, cut his career short due to an injury. Riley, he rapidly ascended to the coaching ranks, becoming the offensive coordinator at East Carolina University, where his offenses were among the most productive in the nation. And that moves on to his Oklahoma success. In 2015, Riley joined the University of Oklahoma as the offensive coordinator and quickly transformed their offense into one of the most dynamic in college football. He was named head coach of Oklahoma in 2017, succeeding Bob Stoops. Under his leadership, Oklahoma won several Big 12 championship games. Now, Riley is credited with mentoring 2 Heisman Trophy winners, Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray, showcasing his strengths in quarterback development. I thought that was great. Then he moved on to where he is now, USC, and a high-profile move. He became the head coach of University of Southern California Trojans in 2021. This move was seen as a significant shift in college football, bringing a top coach to a historically dominant program. Now, his coaching style and philosophy, Riley is celebrated for his offensive acumen. Like I said earlier, he had 2 Heisman Trophy winners, quarterback. He's good at developing the quarterbacks, particularly his air raid passing schemes and his ability to adapt his strategies to his players' strengths. I love that. The ability to adapt his strategies to his players' strengths. I think that in business, we have to do the same thing. We have to adapt people's or our talents to the strengths that make them. Now, that takes a little bit more in management. It's not just general management like people think management is. We could get a lot more out of management if we were more strategic with that process, and the person over it was diving a little bit deeper, a lot deeper really, into what's going on, who's on their team, who are the players, what strengths do they bring to the table, instead of people being so worried about getting a promotion to the next level. Focus on where you are and develop that, and you will soon be promoted. That's my stance. A lot of people do get promoted. I think I replied to a LinkedIn post. I asked, why do confident people get promoted over people who may have more talent for the skill in their job? Because we buy into confidence, but at the same time we buy into confidence, we got to know the whole playing field of our team in order, or the strengths of our team, as well as the weaknesses, in order to understand how we need to maneuver around what's our best plays in a business scenario. So coaching style and philosophy, we just talked about that. But Riley is celebrated for his offensive acumen, particularly the air raid passing, as I just stated. Now, let's talk about this life and legacy. Riley is regarded as one of the most innovative minds in college football, influencing offensive strategies across the sport. His success at Oklahoma and his move to USC have cemented his reputation as a top college football coach. Riley's career, really, guys, continues to be the subject of interest for many in the sports world, with his influence extending beyond that of coaches. So I'm definitely influenced by some of the things I researched on him. And it's just, this is a man that I believe is easily moved between various environments. I see tracing his career and how he moved up and how he expanded that. Genuine focus. I think as when people play sports, but they really dive in and get a real acumen of what's happening, some of them do probably make some of the best coaches. Now, public scrutiny and media pressure, really, guys, being a high profile position for any of these coaches, but Riley's decision from player calling to player management are often under intense scrutiny by media and fans, adding many challenges to his role. And as you have to think about it, these coaches are always in our face, on the game, on the field and stuff. And so when people are in our face, we get to scrutinize them a little bit more. We probably should scrutinize some of these people where we're investing money in their companies and scrutinizing that a little bit more, but we don't. We seem to be people that, or throughout the world, that are centered around media, the entertainment aspect of things. But we do get to see some of the other things that we grapple with from the world of sports. Let's see, adapting to and changing in the college football landscape. I'm going to say that this rapidly evolving landscape in college sports, including changes in players' compensation and transfer rules, has really challenged Riley and other coaches to adapt their strategies on and off the field. I noticed this week, this was transfer portal week. And I noticed, or the students making their decisions, not at the end of college football season, making their decision, coaches visiting their homes or the transfer portal. I noticed Nick Saban going around visiting. I noticed Deion Sanders post. So I try to, once I start looking at the various coaches that I'm researching, I do go out and follow them beforehand on their pages. And this is how I find out a lot of information, as well as researching them online through various aspects, and then kind of pulling all of that together to come up with my conversation with you here on this podcast. Now, when I look back on his career, the high expectations of programs, especially Oklahoma, I know that Oklahoma thing, and living in Texas, when Oklahoma and Texas plays, that is the game. It's about like Alabama and Georgia, or Alabama and Auburn. Those have become the big games because that community kind of embraces that. Even though Oklahoma is the next state over, there's a lot of people from Oklahoma that graduated in Oklahoma that live in Texas. And so it's always Dallas and the surrounding areas is always just like crowded. You go and you can have a great time out and about, especially at the sports bars and things of that nature, listening to and cheering for your team. Now, the criticisms when teams under Riley's leadership did not meet the lofty expectations, particularly in critical games or playoffs, that was something. But I think Riley, from everything I researched, handled that well. As far as handling player discipline, like many coaches, Riley has faced challenges in managing player discipline. There have been instances where players' off-field behavior necessitated disciplinary actions, putting Riley in a position to balance and maintain team discipline while supporting his players. Now, these recruiting battles, I'm going to go back to that. Recruiting battles, just like they're going through right now. In the competitive world of college football, guys, recruiting is a significant aspect. Raleigh has been criticized as well as being praised for his recruiting tactics, especially following his move to USC, which significantly influenced the recruiting landscape. And I think that's because if you look at USC compared to Oklahoma, Texas, Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, those on the West Coast, there are so many other things that they're doing: volleyball, basketball, maybe in Oklahoma as well as in that Texas ring, baseball. There's a lot of competition for a lot of things. And to be honest with you, USC and football, even though you hear about it, but it wasn't as big and prominent as it was to me from what you had on the East Coast or the SEC. Now, his certain departure at Oklahoma and to USC in 2021 caused a there was some flared tempers, as we can imagine. It was controversial due to his sudden impact on Oklahoma's recruiting and team morale. These moves sparked discussions about the nature of college coaches' contracts and loyalty. We had that too when we looked at Sanders' move from the school in Mississippi to Colorado. Listen, people are going to make moves based on their career trajectory, based on what they need for their families. It's like any other job. However, coaches are expected to stay around longer. People commit because they have their mindset on that. But think about it, really think about it. Now with players having the opportunity to move wherever they want to, that opened up a whole different playing field to me, and started people to kind of looking at other ways, and the coaches are looking at other ways, because after all, as somebody said to me on one post I made, it's all about winning. But I think winning is in various categories, and depending on where you think you're going after you play, if people are looking to go to the NFL from college, that's a different mindset of players, and the coaches have to be prepared for that. If you want players that have the potential to go to the NFL because they bring other things to the table for your school, I can see people looking at that as well. Everything is about strategy. Strategy makes a significant realm into how you look at your sports teams, how you look at the coaches, how you look at everything. And the alumni have a lot to look at. After all, alumni are there to do what? To make sure they're helping raising capital for the schools that have these strong alumni. And alumni is not going to support something that is not going anywhere. We are prime, if I can use that word, to want to be winners. We are just watching these games that I'm watching now more and more, and seeing the faces or watching replays. I have a tendency to watch replays and things of that nature, go back in time. I'm becoming an avid fan of college sports, as well as I have always been a fan of NFL, Major League Sports. But I'm learning more and more about the stages. And I watched my son play in high school. He played in the Little League up and through, I think it was the 9th grade he stopped playing. I just had to stop him which was a mistake of mine. Mistake, Mom. I wanted him to focus more on his academic studies, and I didn't see him doing that. But the coaches was really rallying around him to play sports. Now, I think on one of these podcasts, I know. On one of the podcasts, I talked about technology. I think that Riley has embraced technology and analytics. He used the modern technology and analytics and coaching mirrors. His coaching really mirrors the increasing reliance on data-driven decision-making in his sports, just like it is data-driven in business if you're doing it the right way. So embracing technological advances has provided him with a competitive edge to me. Raleigh's approach to coaching, characterized by innovation, adaptability, leadership, and strategic thinking, really offers lessons that transcend football, providing insight for leaders and those professionals again. Now, his strategic planning approach to game plan, in-games adjustments can be really applied to business and sports strategies. It's about clear goals, developing a plan to achieve them, and then being willing to make tactical challenges as needed. So we have tactical and strategic. Tactical is the very essence of implementing the process. Strategic is developing the process. So tactical as well as strategic, when you mirror both of them together, I do think you have a winning game plan. So let's go back up now to the chart that we'll be sharing with all of you. And basically on that chart, developing the talent to continuous learning and adaptation, I wanted to discuss the leadership stories, lessons and stories that are both inspiring as well as instructive for us. So, embracing change and new opportunities. Well, Raleigh's decision to move from Oklahoma to USC was a significant change. This demonstrated the courage to embrace new challenges and opportunities. This teaches the importance of stepping out of comfort zones to pursue growth, a lesson applicable to any leadership scenario, really, to me. Now, next we have continuous learning and adaptation. As a professor, we are constantly teaching people that you have to have continuous learning and be adaptive to various changes. So Raleigh amplifies the need for continuous learning and adaptation because he is known for his innovative offensive strategies again, and his really guys' ability to evolve his playbook and strategy based on his team's strengths and the changing landscape of college football highlights the importance of being a lifelong learner and an adaptive leader. Now let's go to developing nurturing talent. If we look at this, we see that Raleigh's success with quarterbacks like Baker Mayfield or Kyler Murphy underscores the value of identifying and nurturing talent. Leaders can really learn the importance of investing in their team members' growth and helping them reach their full potential. But you have to be out there wanting to help them and understanding what their goals are. I think a lot of companies have to do this. Developing and nurturing talent, again, is very important. If you want to keep people and keep them coming back, even after they have left from under you and supporting you, you gotta nurture people. Now, building a winning culture, which is very important. Creating a culture of excellence and winning mindset at Oklahoma and now at USC shows Raleigh's skill in shaping team culture. This lesson is really crucial, guys, for leaders in any field. The culture you create sets the tone for success. Okay? Remember that. The culture you create sets the tone for success. If you want a successful culture, you have got to build it. So balancing short-term wins with long-term vision. In college football, as we know it, where each game is critical, Raleigh can balance short-term victories with long-term vision for the team. I say that because it's really vital, a lesson for any leader. While short-term achievements are significant, they can align with and contribute to the long-term goal. Every win adds to the long-term goal. Every change in strategy based on what was just done in that scenario, when you're looking for where do we need to improve on, what we need to do, what do I need to talk to the players about, how do I get my strength back or moving farther ahead? That's a constant process. Resilience in the resilience in the face of adversity. Well, if I look at Raleigh's journey And it is marked by resilience, whether bouncing back from tough losses or handling intense scrutiny and pressure, as many of these football coaches have to do. This really teaches leaders the importance of stability, maintaining focus, and staying committed to goals despite challenges. And I have to say that with many of the coaches I see, staying committed. As we've gone through this, watching Saban, watching others that are playing, even Sanders, you got to stay focused on what it is, your strategy, what it is you're trying to do. And I think that these lessons remain important for leadership. Especially Raleigh's career offers valuable insights to effective leadership for leaders. And I really want you to pounce on this. Do a little research yourself. If you're a leader, if you're teaching leadership, you may want to look into some of the sports college football players, especially a lot of us are at these colleges. Why not utilize this to bring things to the full focus instead of just focusing on, from an academia standpoint, business leaders marry a lot of this together, especially for the people who are interested in sports. I think we might get a lot more out of the players who are coming in that are in our classes. Maybe this is another way to engage them in the learning process. So what leaderships, I wouldn't be who I am without having a specialty in leadership. My PhD in organization development and management, as well as with a specialty, almost another PhD, they say, in leadership. I wouldn't be that without talking about the various leadership foundations or styles. Transformational leadership, Raleigh's style really resonates with the principles of transformational leadership, which includes inspiring and motivating team members to exceed expectations. His focus on developing players both on and off the field and his ability to really instill a shared vision are hallmarks of his approach. Now let's take situational leadership. His adaptability is in play calling and tailoring strategies to his players' strengths aligns with situational leadership. This theory suggests that effective leaders varies depending on the situation and the needs of the team members. So what about servant leadership? Well, Raleigh demonstrates aspects of servant leadership, particularly in his player-centric approach. This philosophy emphasizes that leaders' roles in serving their team, prioritizing the development and well-being of team members. So what about strategic leadership? Well, his focus on long-term success of his program, his strategy planning, and his ability to navigate college football landscape aligns with strategic leadership. This involves setting a vision for organizations and making decisions to ensure growth and success. And I think he's authentic, guys. Elements of authentic leaderships are evident in his approach to be characterized by transparency, strong values, and a genuine concern for his players, just as authentic leaders are known for their trustworthiness and consistency. His coaching leadership, given his role, I think Raleigh's style naturally incorporates coaching leadership. This style is about developing people for the future, focusing on their individual growth and providing feedback and guidance. And I think he does a great job with that. And this is another aspect, emotional intelligence. His ability to manage his emotions and those of his players, especially when they're under pressure, aligns with the principles of emotional intelligence and leadership. This skill is crucial, really, for managing the team dynamics and making sound and empathetic decisions. So, again, I think that that Raleigh's coaching career offers valuable lessons applicable to business. And the key takeaways we just discussed: innovation and adaptability, leadership and team building, talent development and mentorship, handling pressure and setbacks, strategic planning and execution, navigating change and controversy, and embracing technology and analytics. I think that all of those things is what I found to be valuable when I studied up on and researched Riley. So as we bring this to a close on Riley, I wanted to give us some valuable lessons that we can talk about as far as in terms of really his ability. Well, let me start here. Here's a quote from Riley. You got to be willing to evolve. You got to be willing to change. And you got to be constantly, you have to constantly be searching for what's next. I'm going to say that again. This is a quote from him. You've got to be willing to evolve. You've got to be willing to change. And you got to constantly be searching for what's next. And I think he amplifies that in his coaching style and everything I've looked at. Now, the key takeaways I take from Riley for businesses is preparation is crucial, guys. Like coaches having playbooks, businesses should have crisis management plans ready, offering a clear roadmap during challenging times, like we went through during the pandemic. Transparency matters. In an age of instant communication, honesty and openness are vital, guys. Address issues head on, acknowledging mistakes, and communicate remedial steps, and embracing the learning opportunities. This fosters innovation and encourages risk-taking, really. Prioritize ethics and integrity. Just as sports teams are revered for their trophies and character, businesses are respected for their values. So ensure your company's actions align with its proclaimed ethos, okay? Excuse me. And then learning. Embrace a growth mindset, like coaches who adjust tactics after a loss. Businesses really should be agile, adapting strategies based on feedback and changes in landscape. So I did talk to you earlier about the women that we would talk about. As far as innovative strategies, I liken him to Becky Harmon, an assistant coach with the San Antonio Spurs. She has been lauded for her creative approaches to basketball coaching, and which is echoing Riley's innovative spirit. And then from a talent management perspective, we can look at Tara Van Dever. She's a Stanford women's basketball coach who has a storied history of developing raw talent into stars, much like Riley's success with quarterbacks. And as far as resilience and adaptability go, I liken him to Sarah Fuller, who made history as a kicker in college football, demonstrating immense resilience and breaking gender barriers, mirroring Riley's adaptability in facing challenges. As far as cultural impact, I look at him as like female executives like Kim Nunn, the general manager of the Miami Marlins. She has significantly impacted baseball, bringing in a new era of inclusive leadership that changes team dynamics and culture. Go Kim, go Kim. And then from a leadership style perspective, I'm going to say that as many female leaders in sports often exhibit a mix of servant and transformational leadership, as women, we are good at the servant part. And we want to transform, focusing on growth and well-being of their team members and really inspiring them to achieve that. And then from a strategic vision perspective, this mirrors, Riley mirrors leaders like Kathy Engelberg. She's the commissioner of the WNBA, who has strategically guided the league to a new popularity and financial success level. Go, Kathy. You have really done a marvelous thing there, and we see women really growing. So we talked a lot about Riley and compared that to women in leadership. So I think that you will, when you read the article as well, I dived a little bit deeper into those, but for the podcast, I wanted to demonstrate some of the things there. And I think as far as the chart goes, you'll see in the chart where we talk about the aspect of each of the things we discussed, Riley's leadership practices, women in leadership practices, and the lesson that we can all learn and take away from all of that. So that's really our show for today. Thank you for joining us.
Yo, gather around, let me tell y'all what's up. Got a leadership course at the cell. Promise the name it to look at the game. Get ready to learn. Maybe such a thrill. From leadership, the way to the top. Excellence to action. It will never stop. Miss Carroll listening from like a fire. Join the first now and reach higher and higher. And he is for professionalism. The first step you would take in their work for the leaders is true. There's no one for the faith, integrity, if it's in conduct. Do that right, that's right. What Dr. Carroll's guidance will try it. Shout out right, feel right. From leadership, the way to the top. Excellence in action, it will never stop. Miss Carroll's wisdom from the magic fire. Join the kids now and reach higher and higher. She's very so good. That's what we need. In faces of challenges, we'll never concede. Mental toughness and confidence so strong. With PRINE by your side, you'll always belong. We'll get from leadership the way to the top. Excellence in action, it will never stop. Miss Carroll's wisdom from the magic fire. Join the kids now and reach higher and higher. Maybe some big name.